Is this thing on? Testing. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Yes, we rocking. We rocking. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is your boy, Darius Capers of the Dynastyers podcast. I am back with another video coming to talk with you guys. First and foremost, please give the Dynastyers podcast YouTube channel a sub. We are pushing towards 300. That is a tremendous milestone for us. We are still in the beginning stages of everything here at the Dynastyers podcast, and getting to 300 with your guys' help would be a tremendous milestone and goal. So thank you guys for all the support and help you guys have given us so far, but we're pushing towards bigger and better, man. So please drop us a sub. Also give us a follow on the Instagram page. We're coming in on 200 followers on Instagram, the Dynastyers podcast as well on Instagram. Drop your boy a follow on Twitch at Kung Fu Kate TTV. I be gaming and stuff, man. You know how that go. Also, last but definitely not least, I'd be remiss if I don't shout out our partners at the Capers Cares Foundation. Please drop them a follow on Instagram as well. They were recently in the Rayford, North Carolina area for a men's walkathon. Walked a mile for men's health, man. It was a tremendous experience, tremendous event. They're doing bigger and better things. Be on the lookout for August, man. They're doing a back to school giveaway. All of that stuff you can find on the Instagram page, man. Again, at the Capers Cares Foundation. Checking them out, drop them a follow, and don't be afraid to donate, man. Now that the introductions are out of the way, I want to get into the topic of this video, man. I'm not going to be here long. Here for a good time, not a long time. Today, I want to talk with y'all about our most recent NBA champion and Finals MVP, Nikola Jokic. So, just to start off talking about Nikola, man, I'll be honest with you guys. The last 3 years, 4 years, the conversation between Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic was neck and neck, man. And me personally, I was on the side of Joel Embiid. I'm more of a defensive and offensive guy, opposed to all the sugar and spice and everything nice. But this man, Nikola Jokic, has ended that debate in 4 seasons. Let's be real. Nikola Jokic, in the span of those 3 to 4 seasons, have won 2 MVPs, also won a Finals MVP, an NBA championship, 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA through his 8-year career. We're going to get to his career accolades a little later, but I just want to say, first and foremost, I was wrong. I hitched my trailer to the wrong wagon. Hitched my trailer to the wrong horse. And that is okay. I am man enough to admit that I was wrong. The conversation now has shifted, though. It's no longer a Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic. It's a Nikola Jokic versus the legendary bigs that have played this game. So that's really why I'm here today, man. I want to talk with y'all, get y'all opinion on where Nikola Jokic ranks all time in terms of the all-time bigs and all-time players in this game. So if we did the NBA 75 list again, I think we all can say, it's safe to say Nikola Jokic would be on NBA 75. If they do it for the 80 years of the NBA, he'll be on NBA 80. Definitely he'll be on it when they do the 100 years of the NBA 100 list. Most definitely. Because with him still being so young, he has a few more years of dominant basketball, I feel. So let's just take a look at his career accolades today. So we're looking at Nikola Jokic's career in a vacuum today. In 8 seasons of basketball, 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 2-time MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP. I don't hold too much weight on that. It's an accolade he does have, but that wasn't a thing before, last year, a few years ago. So I don't really count that as much, but at the end of the day, he has that Finals MVP and that championship. Career averages of 20, 10, and 6 in the regular season, and his playoff averages are even better than that. 27, 12, and 7 with about a steal and a block a game. No one looks at Nikola Jokic and thinks he's a tremendous defender, but a steal and a block a game is pretty impressive in the playoffs while manning everything else he does offensively. So let's Again, I was wrong. I don't know what else I could say, guys. I was wrong about Nikola Jokic. And that is fine. That is completely fine. But I want to come here and again talk with y'all about where he falls in terms of all-time players. I do believe he's one of the 80, 90 best basketball players that have ever touched an NBA floor. I mean, it's hard to argue with that. What he's done, the way he's transformed the game in terms of the center position doing so much, it's just unheard of. It's unmatched. I mean, it's not many guys that can mix 25 a game with 10 and 6 consistently. So, I mean, if I had to say, like I said, I believe he'd be on NBA 80, he'd be on NBA 85, NBA 90, NBA 100. He's going to be on that list when they redo this list. Let's just get that out there now. If we're comparing him on the list of all-time big men, though, all-time fives, all-time centers, this is a conversation that's interesting for me because I can easily say the big five is untouched yet by Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic, his 6-year run has been amazing. His 8-year run has been amazing. But he doesn't touch Kareem. He doesn't touch Bill. He doesn't touch Wilt. He doesn't touch Shaq. He doesn't touch Hakeem. That is my big five centers. He isn't on that level yet. If we're looking at where he ranks in terms of all-time centers, let's just compare. I said number 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Career averages 25 a game, 11 rebounds, 2.5 blocks. 6-time MVP, 6-time NBA champion, 19-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA. He's the second all-time leading scorer behind GOAT James, and he's an 11-time All-Defensive Team player. That's just the staple of longevity. I mean, what else can you say? Greatest center to ever do, without argument. Number 2, like I said, call me a homer. Boston Celtic guy, but it's Bill Russell. Bill Russell has career averages of 15, 22 rebounds. It's as outlandish as it sounds. 11-time champion, 5-time MVP, 12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA. I mean, 13-year playing career, you're a 12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA, and you win 11 championships in 13 seasons. Y'all can miss me with how many teams was in the NBA. They just didn't let Bill Russell win 11 championships. So y'all can miss me with that. He's the greatest winner in terms of the 5 position. Kareem is the greatest statistically. Bill's the greatest winner. Easily. If we're looking at 3, I also said Wilt. Wilt Chamberlain is the most dominant force in terms of his time. I know people will say Shaquille O'Neal, but how can you argue with a guy averaging 30 and 23 for his career? 2-time NBA champion, 4-time MVP, 13-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA. If they had Defensive Player of the Year, I'm pretty sure Wilt and Bill would have just been going back and forth for Defensive Players of the Year back then. So if it wasn't for Bill Russell being in the league, we can argue Wilt would have probably had 11 championships. Again, miss me with it being however many teams it was. I feel like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain could dominate this day and age of basketball. They were dominant. They were very good at what they did, if not the elite of the elite at what they did for the center position. Number 4, like I said, Shaquille O'Neal, man. The most dominant force at the 5 spot for this modern day basketball. It's easy, man. 24 points, 11 rebounds, 2.5 blocks for a career, 4-time champion, won the MVP in 2000, 15-time All-Star, 14-time All-NBA. It's okay to sprinkle those 3 all-defensive teams in there too, man. He was a defensive monster. You don't average 2 blocks a game by not being a good defender. Shaquille O'Neal. I have to take him over Nikola Jokic right now. Nikola might have him with the MVPs, but Shaq was the force, the engine for 3 of those 4 championships that he won. He was the de facto best player. Love Kobe Bryant to death. Rest in peace, the Mamba. Love Kobe. They don't win those championships without Shaquille O'Neal back in that time. You can argue Dwayne Wade doesn't have a championship without Shaquille O'Neal in Miami. I know I know Dwayne Wade went berserk in the playoffs, but Shaquille O'Neal was the guy they needed. So, gotta put respect to the Big Four, man. Number 5. And the only reason I don't put Hakeem over Shaq is because of the championships. And that's me. Shaq got 4. Hakeem got 2. Hakeem is one of 3 players to win Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP in the same season. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem has to be above Jokic. His defensive impact. He's probably the greatest defender that we've ever seen play the game of basketball. 22 and 11 for a career, 3 blocks, 2-time champion, 1994 MVP, 12-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Defensive Team, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Now, when Jordan left to go play baseball, Hakeem dominated the league for that 2-year stretch. Won both of his championships and has his face etched on the center Mount Rushmore if we're doing 5 heads. Because, Mount Rushmore's only 4 heads. We're going to throw extra head on that because Hakeem deserves it. Why not? Now we're kind of getting to that next tier of bigs. And I hate to even say the next tier of bigs because these guys are also dominant. And when you hear these 2 names that I have above Nikola Jokic, you'll see why I have these names. Number 6. Am I crazy for taking David Robinson over Nikola Jokic? David Robinson, 21 points, 11 boards, 3 blocks for a career. Has more championships than Nikola Jokic, has 2. He also has that MVP, 10-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA, 8-time All-Defensive, won a Defensive Player of the Year. He was a driving force for one of those championships. The second one was after he had Tim Duncan. We know what Tim Duncan represents as a power forward at the power forward position at the 4 spot. As a player all time, he's top 20. We get that. But David Robinson in his peak was one of those guys. Like, let's not forget, 23 in his prime, each of his first 7 seasons in the league. Then he started hitting injuries, man. That is what made people forget. Those injuries is really what hampered a top 5 center career for David Robinson. But I feel like as of today, with Jokic only being in the league for 8 years, only having that 5-6 year stretch of dominance, we have to take 10 years of dominance over 6 right at this very second. So yeah, I am going to give David Robinson the edge. But if Nikola gets another championship, maybe another MVP, because, tangent real quick, I feel like Nikola deserved this year's MVP. Joel Embiid deserved last year's MVP. Call me crazy. Anyways, if Nikola gets another ring, gets another MVP, he gets 3 MVPs on his mantle, we're going to have to talk about him being probably on that top 4 Mount Rushmore. Till then, he got some work to do, but he's definitely, like I said, top 10 bigs. So let's go to the next one. Number 7. And I want to say shout out to my guy, Corey Gilliard, because Corey Gilliard mentioned this guy to me, and I really had to go back and do my research in comparing him to Nikola Jokic. Moses Malone. Moses Malone is a 21, 12-board guy, 1.3 blocks. He's a 3-time NBA champion. He has 3 MVPs, 13-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA, and he's made 2 All-Defensive Teams. So this is also a guy we have to consider above Nikola just because of the length of his dominance. There was a stretch of about 5 years when Moses Malone was a 27 and 15 a game guy. 3 MVPs and a championship in that stretch. If Nikola, like I said, if Nikola can get one more MVP, tie the MVP discussion, maybe another championship, then he's going to move over some of these names because he'd be the driving force for 2 championships opposed to in David Robinson's case, the driving force for one, and essentially kind of playing second fiddle to Timmy on the second one. And in Moses Malone's case, only having one championship compared to one, he'd have two compared to one. So that would move him above those two guys. But, man, Moses Malone, shout out Corey Gilliard, man. He is a talent, and I'm sorry that I disrespected him in terms of Nikola right now. Nikola has a little more to do before he passes Moses, but I have Nikola right below Moses Malone. Like I mentioned, his career averages 20 points a game, 10.5 boards, about 6.5 assists, 1.2 steals, almost 1 block a game, NBA champion, 2-time MVP, 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA. I definitely feel like if he gets another All-Star game, another All-NBA team, another championship, maybe another MVP in his career, he's pushing that top 5. And personally, man, those 4 championships Shaq has would be tough. I think him and Hakeem would probably be, but that's just so difficult, man. Would you take an MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year? Or would you take 3 MVPs? They both would have 2 championships. It'd be tough. I think he'd be right below Hakeem. I feel like he'd be right below Hakeem, but he'd pass Moses and David Robinson, in my opinion. So, yeah, I have Nikola at 8, my top 10 centers. Number 9, my dad's going to love this. Shout out to Pops. By the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers, man. I know I can't believe I waited this long in the video to say that, but happy Father's Day, man. We appreciate everything you guys do. You'll see why I'm going to say this in a second. My dad's a huge New York Knicks fan, man. Love you, Pops. Happy Father's Day. But number 9 for me is Patrick Ewing, man. 21 points, 10 boards, 2.5 blocks a game, 11-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Defensive. New York Knicks, great, man. One of the greatest players the Knicks have ever had in their career. Well, in the terms of the career of their franchise. One of the greatest players in franchise history, man. He just fell victim to playing with Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon. And with Hakeem being in the East, him being in the East, it was going to be tough to make All-Star games above Hakeem or win all defensive teams above Hakeem. He just fell in that era, man. But he was a great player, man. He definitely deserves to be that top 10. I have him at 9. I do feel like that is a respectful area to have him. I feel like you can't go much higher than that. And excuse me, Hakeem beat him out, even though Hakeem was in the West. All defensive teams come from either or. I mean, All-Star games. He had his 11 All-Stars, so that's pretty good. So he pretty much had a Hall of Fame career, which is why he's in the Hall of Fame, but it's just a tier below. He didn't get that championship. He never won an MVP, so that is why I take Nikola over him at this point, but Patrick Ewing was a great. And last but not least, number 10, man, I want to shout out Bill Walton. Bill Walton, he was another guy that got plagued with injuries, man. When he was in his peak, jeez. Career averages of 13, 10, 3 assists, 2 blocks. He's a 2-time champion, won an MVP, 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, 2-time All-Defensive Team. Won the 6th Man of the Year with my Boston Celtics. I'm more of a college basketball guy, and I know my college basketball history a little better than NBA basketball history just because I love college basketball. Bill Walton at UCLA, they have documentaries about this man. He was different in college basketball. If it wasn't for him breaking his foot, oh man, he probably would have been number 6 on this list if it weren't for him breaking his foot. But despite that, man, he still niched out a really successful career. Man, what more can be said? He's MVP, NBA champion twice. Like, he's had a pretty successful career, man. Not many guys have won MVPs in the NBA. So salute to Bill Walton. I definitely feel like, again, he's a what-if story. But I do have him below Jokic just because Jokic is, it's crazy to say, length of dominance is longer than Bill's. So, yeah, man. again, this video was just kind of coming to talk to y'all, man. Just let y'all know where I'm thinking. Just wanted to again apologize. Nikola Jokic, if you watch this video, man, I'm sorry for doubting you. You're a monster. You are definitely a top 10 center all time right now. The conversation between you and Embiid is no more. If you get another championship, man, you're going to be number 6 on my list. I don't know about anyone else, but I would pretty much take you over the Admiral and over Moses Malone because you would deserve that. So, yeah, man, this is pretty much all I got for you guys today, man. Please, drop a sub on the YouTube channel, man. Dynastyers Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at the Dynastyers Podcast. Give me a follow on Twitch at Kung Fu Cape TTV. We talk basketball. We stream Fortnite. All types of stuff, man. So please just tap in. And again, Nikola, I'm sorry. Till next time, guys. Peace.